Hey all, welcome to Monday, and of course that means, baby, it's countdown day here on the channel. And over the last several weeks, we have looked at the top 10 Autobots, the top 10 Decepticons, and then in honor of 25 years of Beast Wars, we have done the top 10 Maximals, and the intention here was top 10 Predacons. Little did I realize that people would interpret Predacons differently, and indeed, it is a faction name that has been used many times. The voting was very interesting here. Nevertheless, we're going to see how it all shook out, because our topic this time around is the top 10 best Predacons in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, loud in my baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links, all of that in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. And as I said, the interpretation of Predacons was very interesting. And I always say, vote with your gut. Like, go with your gut. Whatever the first name is that comes to you, go with that. So while my intention wasn't for it to be as broadly interpreted as it was, and really just to focus on Beast Wars, you know what? They rolled in for everything from Beast Wars to Beast Wars 2 and Neo to RID 2001 and more. It was an interesting round of voting. I'm going to do the honorable mentions first. There were 4 this time. The first one, actually the first 3 all had the same number of votes, and then there's one more. With the same number of votes, we had Beast Wars Scorponok, as well as G1 Razor Claw and G1 Dive Bomb. Now, I didn't think of the G1 Predacons, but they are Predacons, so I did count the votes. And Pterosaur, he took an honorable mention. I really hoped he was going to make the top 10. He didn't quite crack it, so who did? Well, you know what we're going to do, baby. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Now, coming in at number 10, while I didn't think of this character because my mind was on Beast Wars, how can you deny that when you're doing a list about Predacons, that somewhere on it, you are bound to find the Predacon. This is G1 Predacon, as represented by Unique Toys Warlord. You know, like, I didn't think of these Predacons or Predacon, but a lot of people did, and it makes sense. I mean, when you think Predacons, how can you not think of the Predacon? So, yeah, I understand where the votes came from. It's not the intention of the list, but enough people thought of Predacon right away that he did take the number 10 slot. Number 9 is the rootinest, tootinest varmint going for the Predacons, that being Quick Strike. Little bit crazy, a little bit overzealous, a whole lot of cowboy in here, you know. I mean, one of the weirdest robots. I mean, this came from the Fusers era when he's like part crab, part scorpion maybe, and then maybe it's part scorpion. I guess it's part scorpion and part snake. Like, he's a weird mix, but he was always one of the first ones to the front lines, and he was always fun to listen to. And for that reason, and because enough people thought of this guy right off the bat, he was able to take the number 9 slot. Now, number 8, once again, kind of takes us out of our Beast Wars comfort zone, this time to Transformers Prime and another iteration of Predacon. Prime Predacon. This obviously very different from the G1 Predacon that was a combiner. This one is a huge dragon. A lot of people have suggested that this could be used for Onyx Prime. It could, except he's missing 2 legs. He should have 2 more legs. Otherwise, yeah, you definitely could. That said, I feel like Prime Predacon has enough of his own following that this look is pretty iconic for him anyway. So I'm kind of not comfortable necessarily doing that, but I understand the argument for it for sure. He is a character that really had a great arc in Transformers Prime and had a lot of growth right up to the end, right up to Predacons Rising, when arguably he became a little bit of a hero himself. Anyway, you cut it. When I said the word Predacon, enough people thought Predacon, and not just the G1 version, that this guy was able to take the number 8 slot. Once again, for number 7, we duck out from Beast Wars, and this time we go to RID 2001 and Skybite, arguably my favorite character from RID 2001. I'm not a Unicron Trilogy fan, but I do like RID 2001. It didn't have the longest life, but it did give us some characters that have become very memorable, like that Megatron Gigatron, like that version of Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus, and like Skybite. Perhaps the most revered and well-remembered and beloved of all the Predacons from anywhere, from any point of the fiction. A lot of people can get behind this guy. A lot of people want good things for Skybite, as do I. And for that reason, Skybite takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6 is a character that's so bad, they're good. Or is it so good, they're bad? She always keeps you guessing, and it's Black Arachnia. Whether she's a bad guy or a good guy is almost very ambiguous. I mean, I get it. She, has a story arc where she was a Maximal Spark that was converted to being a Predacon, and then she finds her way back to being a Maximal, but she's never really the worst of the bad guys. She's never really the best of the good guys. She's always somewhere in between, and a lot of times with her own machinations and her own designs and her own ideas. She certainly does whatever she wants, whenever she wants. And she very much is a character that fits on a top 10 of Maximals and a top 10 of Predacons. Any way you cut it, she falls somewhere in between. And that's why she is such a tremendous character on both. And that's why Black Arachnia is one of the greatest characters in all of Transformers. Any way you cut it, enough fans felt like she belonged on this list that she was able to take the number 6 slot. And here we are once again at the most coveted of locations. Shh. Silence, silence. We need silence for this because we are at the halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we have a character where it's very fitting to say, "Come into my parlor," said the spider to the fly, said the insane spider to the fly. The cannibalistic spider, I'm talking about Tarantulas. This guy is brilliant. This guy is insane. This guy is vicious. He is the quintessential evil, Predacon, bad guy, like, he is everything that's not good. And then some. So much so that he's even kind of despised by his own teammates. For some reason I have one of his legs popped off. It must be down there somewhere. Yeah, Tarantulas. One of the best villains in Transformers, man. I love this guy. And whenever he shows up, it always spells trouble. And for that reason, he was able to take the number 5 slot. Coming in at number 4, we have probably the most menacing of all characters because this dude actually feeds on fear. I'm talking about Rampage. Now mine didn't have his proper legs, so these are actually like made kind of out of some tape and like some like building blocks. I don't know what brand or anything like that, but like he's a bit rough. I found this guy for $3. What do you want, There's certain things here that I did have to replace. Would I be down for like an update to this guy? Yeah, probably. But how big, how solid, how sturdy, how menacing is Rampage? One of the most deplorable characters. When you know his backstory and why Depth Charge is hunting him down because of the unspeakable acts he's done, like one of the worst, most deplorable characters that feeds on fear, yet shows kindness when he befriends Transmutate. I suspect, and I've always suspected, that he felt like kind of a bot without an island, so to speak, like he didn't fit in anywhere, and neither did the Transmutate. Enough people remember this menacing beast that he was able to take the number 4 slot. Well, number 3 will do anything for his queen, for the royalty. It is, of course, Beast Wars Inferno. One of the most beloved Predacons, one of the greatest characters. The guy is a little bonkers and off the wall, but he was always full of like active energy. Whenever this guy appeared on screen, you always knew that it was going to be like a lot of frenetic energy. He didn't stop ever. And maybe that's why, he's remembered so fondly, because he was always going to be kind of in the thick of things, in the middle of the fray, and he was going to kind of like berserk his way through whatever Maximals were around him. A great Predacon, a loyal Predacon, and a fun character. That's all this guy needed to take the number 3 slot. Coming in at number 2 is arguably the one Beast Wars character, the one Predacon who has absolutely transcended Beast Wars to the point where even people that aren't fans of Transformers know this character. I'm talking about he who the world hates, Waspinator. Like, even if you're not much of a Transformers fan, it seems like everybody kind of knows poor old Waspinator and knows, like, the world hates the guy and he has the worst luck. Waspinator is a character that has one of the strangest cult followings of anybody. You know he's a bad guy and you know he's trying to prove himself to Megatron, but yet you almost want him to be able to prove himself. And when he finally kind of says enough is enough, you're kind of sort of happy for him. By the end of Beast Wars, I was happy that he was able to kind of like have peace at last, even though his story arc wasn't quite done. Waspinator is a strange character because he is the best example I could think of, you know, a bad guy that you're pulling for to succeed. Enough fans probably feel the same way, and this guy was able to get enough votes that he easily tied up the number 2 slot. And here we are at the top spot. And when we talk Predacons, no one is going to come above Beast Wars Megatron. Yes. Now, to be fair, there were some votes that specifically came in for the Transmetals 2 version, the Dragon version. It was a handful that came in specifically for that version. A lot just said Megatron. So I lumped all of them together. So whether it's this guy, Transmetals or Transmetals 2, it's all the same character, and it's all Beast Wars Megatron. The funny part is that even when people would vote for this guy, they would say, but not that Netflix version. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. It was different, but I still liked it all right. Yeah, Beast Wars Megatron, man. I mean, how could he kind of not be on here, you know? Like, I get it. Some people thought of the G1 stuff. Some people thought of, like, Gigatron Megatron from RID. Some people thought of the Transformers Prime Predacon. Like, I think it's cool that so many people went across the pantheon of all the fiction. But, without a doubt, when you say Autobot, you think Optimus. When you say Decepticon, you think Megatron. When you say Maximal, you think Optimus Primal. And when you say Predacon, you think Megatron. For that reason, he was able to take, by a big margin, the number 1 slot. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone from 10 down to 1 once again. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member, baby. What else can I say? Hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.